your whole life around you. It's wonderful, but who gets that information? That's the whole point. So the smartphone people have openly said that we want ecosystems, where we want to control a person's life around an Apple or Android or Microsoft ecosystem. All the apps will be from there, all the information flow will be from there, and we will get everything about everybody. I don't have time to talk about government services. That's another whole topic, fascinating topic, by country, by spying, and finally, Internet of Things. This is the next best thing that's going to happen to us because everything will be on the internet. Using IPv6. IPv6 will assign an IP address to everything. I'm not talking about what facilities you can get out of this. You can get a lot out of this. But now everything is identifiable in the open network. If you just don't do anything, if you listen, you know who's sending what data to who. Oh, maybe we should add encryption. That doesn't solve anything. I know this sensor is saying this, sending some information which I cannot read. But just the traffic analysis is great. Then I can start sending probes to various things because all of them have IP addresses to the fridge, to the smart meter, to whatever, and I'm an attacker. So it's a nightmare in terms of security, and it's a huge deal in terms of privacy. And of course it will happen. And the unintended consequences, which means that the design of a system is like this, but people use it, or it has bad behavior in some other way, there's more there than I know, because we haven't found out what is going to happen when that happens. So I'm not very happy about what we'll find out once we deploy the Internet of Things. So we'll finish off by saying that dude, Scott McNally was right. If you're worried about privacy, don't worry, it's all good. There's no privacy anyway, so why worry? We're not getting it back. It's all run by corporations and the government who want to know everything about you. Corporates say you get services, government says we need to find terrorists. And the track record in finding terrorists are not very good. But you get services for free, they have very useful applications, the price you pay, you never see, so you didn't pay anything for it. So I don't see what's wrong with it, even though maybe I said something different. But whenever you get something for free, think about it a little. So, any questions? Yes.
So I have just read the privacy policy, browser privacy policy. So there is a one P3P, privacy preference project, that is the IBM policy editor is also. So there is a privacy negotiation between browser and website, what to supply, what not to supply. How it is technically feasible now?
No, it's not. These are protocols. People build all kinds of systems where they show that it's privacy preserving. So there is this server and web browser protocol where they can negotiate.
Yes,
Who cares? Nobody does that. You're leaking privacy because you're using a regular browser. You use that browser, it won't have anybody to negotiate with because the servers don't support that. So the theory behind how to build privacy into systems is solid if anybody used it. But the internet is open. Who chooses to build servers? Amazon, Google, they're not going to do it.
If I put my privacy preference policy through IBM policy on my website, then my end user will trust more on me?
On your website.
Yes.
But who cares? You're not Google. So yeah, and who knows? Do you think a person with a non-computer science education knows anything about browsers and clients negotiating? That you can say my browser is more privacy preserving? Yeah, whatever he says, never mind. So this is at large. This is the common people. We're not talking about graduates of computer science here. Who uses computing and smartphones and gadgets? This is just normal people. They don't know how browsers work. They know how to click on them. That's all. So that's another problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. No? Anybody? Yeah.
How does the bank give the security? Say
That's
bank-
security. That's not privacy. And they use, that's a whole different story. They use SSL, they use certificates, they use encryption, they validate both sides, and you have a secure connection, and there's no third-party cookies and JavaScripts involved. So security is a different story. But the story with privacy is a secure site can then go ahead and tell other people, sell this information. So if the bank starts selling information about who has more than so much money in the bank, that would be a privacy leak. But I think you have a contract or something saying banks won't sell your information. At least that's what it is now. I'm sure they'll start selling in the future because selling is the game. So yes, the banks can reveal all account information. That's the privacy problem.
There also the information goes to the net.
No. When you're doing online banking?
Right, yeah.
Very highly encrypted. Even if other people are looking at it, they can't get any information. No, that's secure. But if somebody steals their servers or breaks into the bank, which is like breaking into the bank, then it's not secure. Yeah.
There is any solution for preserving our privacy?
Well, there's plenty. So are there any solutions for privacy preservation?
Like,
Yes, there is.
rather than that, informing to pupils or
There is a huge amount of literature, and there's Tor sites, and there's all kinds of things to preserve privacy. But only if these protocols are built into major sites. They will never be. Because if you can stop privacy leaks, a whole business goes away. Google cannot provide free services. So that's not going to happen. There is, in theory, lots of things about
so there is
privacy.
a requirement of and a government body for preserving these privacies or for creating rules regulation for that.
There is no government who's interested in doing that.
Data Protection Act something.
That's
Like,
acts that sits there.
Information
But,
Like
disclosure.
cyber cells,
Huh?
like cyber cells.
I'm not sure, but anybody stop Google? Okay, no, Europeans are stopping certain parts of Google, but certain parts. But there is not a concerted effort to preserve privacy because there's a government corporation collaboration there. Money is important to the economy. You don't want to harm the economy and mess with an ecosystem. So this is already in place. Maybe a little bit for show will be done.
So,
Yeah.
what if we are using the private browsing?
Private browsing is for your amusement. It doesn't do anything. What it does is when you finish browsing, it deletes all the cookies from that session on your computer. Out there on the web, it makes no difference whether you're using private browsing or not. So it's just a gimmick. So yeah, on your local computer, after you're done, if I go use your computer, I will not see the history or the cookies that you left behind. Whereas if you use normal browsing, I can look at your history. That's the only difference. It's based on your computer.
Ethically, does it have any impact on an individual life and lifestyle if such kind of information is made public rather than becoming private?
We can have this. What kind of information? Why are we wearing clothes?
Yeah, yeah.
What are you hiding?
The type of wearing clothes, the type of activities I'm doing.
Do you really want everybody to know what exactly you did every day?
If it is made public, what happens? Even if we try to hide it, maximal effort, it becomes public. As soon as you have
Now
privacy.
we can argue this. Who's going to make it public? Google makes it public.
Yeah.
Google will go out of business. Or they will never do that. They will keep it to themselves. They will sell it selectively. Making it public, people go like, wait a minute, what is this? So no, this is disruptive. And of course I will hate it if my whole tracks are made public. So I will stop doing whatever I'm doing to cut that connection.
In that case, you want us to stop using the smartphone?
I will stop using the smartphone, the whole industry goes bankrupt. That's not
That would
happening.
work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ultimate thing is that the moment we use smartphones or computer or do our regular activities, we are no more an individual.
You have no
product.
more privacy.
We are a product now.
Yes.
And this is going to be the eventual fate of the whole community.
This is just the start. What is next, we don't know. Just like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, did you really know what a smartphone is all about?
Yeah.
Things happen. Okay, I think I'm out of time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such a really interesting session on privacy. It will be a pleasure to listen to you again in our future events.
Okay, I'll be around. Anybody who wants to talk to me, I'm always available. Except that I won't be around for the afternoon session. I'm giving the same talk somewhere else.
Moving on towards our second keynote address of this technical session, we have with us the very eminent Dr. B. Chandra from IIT Delhi. Dr. B. Chandra is with the Computer Science Group of the Department of Mathematics in the Institute of Technology in Delhi, where she is currently a professor and the department chair from August 2004 to August 2007. She has been a visiting professor with the Graduate School of Business, University of Pittsburgh and Penn State University. She has been a visiting consultant at the National Standards Institution, Maryland, USA during 2012. She has also been a visiting scientist with INRIA in France. She has published more than 75 research papers in reputed international journals in the area of feature selection, pattern classification, clustering, and neural network algorithms. She has been invited to deliver invited lectures at various universities in the US, namely the University of Pittsburgh, Penn State University, University of Eastern Illinois, University of Hawaii, University of Texas, and Virginia Tech, and at other institutions like the National University of Singapore, Bangor University, UK, etc. She has been chairman in various sessions on neural networks and pattern classification and clustering at the international conferences held in US, UK, Canada, Singapore, etc. She has been the principal investigator of many sponsored research and consultancy research projects in the field of neural networks and machine learning. She has authored a number of research papers published in reputed international journals in the area of neural networks, classification and clustering. She has also authored 3 books. Chandra ma'am will be today addressing us on the topic data mining and its applications. With great pleasure, we welcome